from the Zombie Star, and we are finally back with This Week in Comics after a long hiatus that I have taken from posting any kind of content or doing anything related to the Zombie Star due to a lot of life changes that have been going on, but really excited to catch up with what we've been reading this week in comics, as well as also follow up with Endgame, as I am starting a really exciting game, a new game that I just cannot wait to start. But first, let's get into what we've been reading this week in comics. And this week we are starting with Stranger Things Cross Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW. I know what you're thinking. This is kind of an extreme crossover, but this works better than you might think. At the time of this recording, the writer's strike has come to an end, and hopefully a lot of our shows that have been put kind of on pause will continue into production. I understand that Stranger Things Season 5 has already begun production since the end of the strike. But if you are like me and really just cannot wait and have been wanting some kind of Stranger Things content, IDW's crossover with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Stranger Things was a lot of fun to read. Created by Chittock, Pei, and Dodson, our crew from Hawkins finds themselves in the Big Apple for a science convention, and issue 1 doesn't waste any time at all, as immediately they discover that there is a tear that leads into the Upside Down. In an attempt to close the portal, 11 and the gang find themselves quickly overwhelmed by altered demo dogs and saved by none other than another pack of wayward teenagers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I know what you're thinking, this doesn't make any sense. How would these characters ever cross over, and what would they ever have in common? But in fact, it is the character parallels and how well they play off each other that help drive the story forward and bring it together. It is really fun to see characters like Dustin and Donatello kind of be the brains of their group, as they kind of have a friendly competition of who is craftier, more creative, and comes up with the better ideas. Mike and Leonardo both feel the immense weight and pressure of what it's like to be a leader or a figure of a leader of their respective groups, as they both struggle and manage that immense responsibility. Still, what stood out to me the most and what I enjoyed the most and thought was really profound was Splinter's influence on Eleven, on controlling her powers and controlling her anger and her rage, which he does in a very similar way with Raphael and his anger and his rage, and plays a kind of moral compass for Eleven, as she's still in a phase where she's managing and growing with her powers. Artwork pays homage to classic Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird look of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, while still capturing the 1980s retro look that is appropriate for Stranger Things, from the clothing to 1980s New York City. The book was really beautifully illustrated. We started with issue number 1 of Stranger Things Cross Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this week. This is a variant cover for issue number 1. I did not get the standard cover, but this is super cool. This is issue number 2, and you can see that they really do play on the parallel between the characters of Stranger Things and, of course, with Ninja Turtles. And issue 3 is probably my favorite cover of the 3 issues so far. Just watching Eleven hold on to Leonardo's katana is pretty awesome. Stranger Things cross, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cross Stranger Things. This was really fun. I usually don't go in for these extreme crossovers, but when I saw this, I had to give it a chance and really liked it. BRZRKR Poetry of Madness issue number 1. I was in theme for the last title for Stranger Things. I am no longer in theme now. I'm wearing a Doom t-shirt, and I have since misplaced my glasses, but that's okay. The collaboration between artists and writers and the actor Keanu Reeves is back for an expansion off of the original BRZRKR title from Boom Comics. The initial run for BRZRKR has ended with, I think, 12 issues, but did leave a strong indication that the story of Anute clearly isn't over. Although Poetry of Madness was a big surprise, as it is a deep dive into the character's past, origins, and of his experiences in his timeless lifetime. Taking place centuries before the events of the original BRZRKR, we see Anute in the mythical land of Atlantis, playing the role of a revered warrior in charge of the Kingsguard. Even though the story of BRZRKR is about an immortal warrior, Poetry of Madness is a strong deviation from what we're used to from the initial run, as it really leans into the mythical and the magical elements for this story, and kind of replaces the commandos and mercenaries that we're used to from the initial run for more wizards and warlocks. And despite this significant shift in tone and look and feel of the book, it is still a Berserker story. The violence, the gore, the pace does not get lost in this new expansion of Berserker Poetry of Madness. Another significant difference for Poetry of Madness is Keanu Reeves is not working with Kind Crabtree or Garney, and instead partnering with Steve Scorse and Dave Stewart. While I do notice a significant difference of art approach, I might prefer Garney over Scorse. It is still a beautiful looking book and might be appropriate since the setting is extremely different. There's elements that are very different that might have gone into the decision into why he's working different artists now. Do not know if Garney and Kind Crabtree are going to return as the initial run begins, which I'd be very excited to see, but still Poetry of Madness is a beautiful and awesome addition to the Berserker franchise. At the end of the initial run, I remember saying I would just love to see just Berserker content in any way, shape, or form. Still, it is just rumors. I don't know what has been confirmed, that we will be getting either an animated series or some kind of live action for Berserker. Either way, Berserker is just really awesome. Poetry of Madness issue number 1 was really cool. As both are apex in their respective food chains, Predator vs. Wolverine is a really fun look into what would happen if these two pop culture icons would meet head to head. While it is unclear how old exactly Wolverine or Logan is, Predator vs. Wolverine suggests that sometime throughout his timeline, he crossed paths with a Yuja, or what we know as a Predator. Issue 1 focuses on Logan as a youth, choosing a life of isolation in the frozen mountains of Canada. Gullible and still trying to find his goodness and purpose in this world, he is swindled into a job that puts him in some of the most isolated parts of these frozen mountains, and by pure chance finds himself the target as a also young and ambitious predator. Both being young, foolish, angry, and extremely powerful, the two engage in an amazing battle in only way that they know how. And really fun to see how their very different traits play into their battle, whether it be how they heal, how they track. And I just find it ironic that both also share purpose, in the sense that both of them kind of just always have something to prove. Written by Benjamin Percy and illustrated by Lashley, Land, Leiston, and DeVito, Predator vs. Wolverine is a really beautiful book that captures the brutality of Logan's youth, but matches it well with the harsh and brutal environments of the more isolated mountainous parts of Canada. And as the cover for issue 1 shows that classic look for Predator, it includes these depictions beautifully that brings this kind of ridiculous mashup together. But I feel it's just one of those things that you just talk about with your friends, and a what if issue. I really love when Marvel kind of brings these things together, as in a lot of ways it's something that we probably have wanted to see, and done very well in the first issue. This is issue number 1 for Predator Wolverine. This will continue. Really excited to read the whole thing. And kind of picking up everything that Marvel has been doing with Alien and Predator, which I think has been pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. But this is the issue 1 for Predator versus Wolverine. And we will cut it there for this week in comics. This is just some of the things that we've been reading. Still trying to catch up with that long kind of hiatus that I did take from making content. So hopefully we'll stick to a more strict schedule now that I do have everything set up again. But this is what we have been reading. Let me know what you guys have been reading. Let me know what you think of these titles if you are reading them. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.